Well, the war in West Asia has a new epicenter, one of the world's most critical oil choke points, the Strait of Hormuz. The US as well as Iran has been creating threats over its control. Now the tussle seems to have moved into a new phase. A maritime security agency reported that 2 container ships were hit off the coast of the United Arab Emirates. The United Kingdom Maritime Trade Operations said that an unknown projectile hit a cargo ship in the Strait of Hormuz, abating Iran, causing a fire and forcing the crew to evacuate. The agency later reported an attack on another ship, this time 50 nautical miles northwest of Dubai. Nearly 20% of the world's oil passes through this narrow waterway that lies between Iran on one side and Oman and the United Arab Emirates on the other. About 25% of global seaborne oil trade depends on it, as nearly 20 million barrels of oil passes through Hormuz on a usual day. But the war in West Asia threatens to choke the flow. Iran has issued a stark warning saying it will not allow ships linked to the United States or its allies to safely pass through the strait. Reports claim that Iran has the capability to target vessels with missiles, drones, and sea mines if the conflict escalates further. Now, the CNN has reported that Iran has already started laying mines in the strait. US President Donald Trump said he did not have such reports, but still issued a warning to Iran. Minutes after Trump's warning, the United States military said it has struck 16 Iranian vessels suspected of laying mines in the area, signaling that Washington is prepared to use force to keep the shipping lane open. While Iran's mine stock isn't publicly known, reports suggest over the years that Iran has stockpiled roughly 2,000 to 6,000 naval mines, largely produced either by themselves or by China and Russia. With the US claiming to have destroyed 16 mine layers, that still leaves Iran well over 80% of its reported stockpile. But confusion erupted after a dramatic claim from Chris Wright, the US Energy Secretary. In a social media post, Wright said that the US Navy had successfully escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz. The announcement briefly shook global energy markets. But within minutes, the post was deleted, and soon after, the White House clarified the claim was incorrect.
Can you explain why the Energy Secretary posted and then appeared to have deleted a post on X saying that the U.S. Navy escorted an oil tanker through the Strait of Hormuz?
Yes, I was made aware of this post. I haven't had a chance to talk to the Energy Secretary about it directly. However, I know the post was taken down pretty quickly, and I can confirm that the U.S. Navy has not escorted a tanker or a vessel at this time, though, of course, that's an option the President has said he will absolutely utilize if and when necessary at the appropriate time.
The contradiction has only deepened the uncertainty over the security of the waterway. Iran seized on the confusion. Iranian Parliament Speaker Mohammad Baghir Ghalibaf mocked the American claim online, writing, "An oil tanker crossed the Strait of Hormuz escorted by US Navy ships, maybe on PlayStation." The US has been claiming that it will ensure the free flow of energy through the strait. Iran says it can shut the passage whenever it chooses. So as the war intensifies, can President Donald Trump actually control the Strait of Hormuz? Well, joining us live from Hyderabad is Dr. Asif Saeed. He will talk more on this. He's a former ambassador of India to Saudi Arabia, Yemen, and Seychelles. Dr. Saeed, welcome to WION World is One. Thanks for making time for us.
Thank you so much. I think the war is entering into a very decisive and dramatic stage where the threatened blockade of the Strait of Hormuz is now becoming a concern, a real concern, so to say, which you have mentioned. The strait carries, as you know, 85% of India's LPG and 55% of our energy, and most of our energy imports also come from there. So with the Strait of Hormuz practically blocked, it has given rise to a lot of cascading effects. Shortage of oil supply, then rise of oil pricing, which is also having effect on our GDP, and inflation is rising because of that. So I think this is also concerning giving us a cause of concern as far as our diaspora is also concerned, because if it aggravates, we will have to really take care of the 9 to 10 million of Indian nationals who are in the Gulf. Their safety would be of our of an humanitarian concern to all the countries and to us. So this is something which we are grappling at, and this kind of the crisis has not come about since 1980s, when you had something called the war of the containers, which used to take place there. So I think it is going into a very decisive stage where if the Hormuz Strait is blocked completely, for a few weeks at least, then it will be it will have a great impact. Already we have started seeing this.
Dr. Said, the US military says it destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying vessels near Hormuz after reports that Iran had begun placing mines. And President Trump has also commented that the US is considering taking over the Strait of Hormuz. I'd like to know, what would control over the strait look like, and can Trump do it in practical terms?
You see, the United States has been actually talking about escorting their oil tankers from the Strait of Hormuz. Several other countries have also talked about it, but I think it is not that easy, because that strait is itself a very narrow strait, and already there is a speculation that IRGC may have laid mines there, and if they are forced, they could actually completely blockade that and burst up those mines. So it will further lead to further escalation. So I think in all likelihood, if the countries in the region, the other West Asian countries, the bigger players, the UAE, the Saudi Arabia, along with the regional players, kind of come about with some kind of a rapprochement or a temporary ceasefire, then that will be a better solution. I don't think military solution or threats would hold, because Iran is now fighting an existential battle. It has nothing more to lose. It is already, its energy infrastructure is hit. So it is now trying to hit back the energy infrastructure of the other regional countries. So that is again a cause of great concern, because if they decide to hit the infrastructure of the other countries, already we have seen Ras Tanura in Saudi Arabia has been hit, UAE has been hit, Bahrain oil refinery has been hit. So I think this is a mutual destruction, at its display, and somehow or the other, one should talk reason, both with the both parties, US and Israel on one hand, and Iranians on the other hand. So that this is a natural resource which is actually vital for the economies of the entire world. So that the entire global economy can suffer if it continues for a while.
Dr. Said, I'd also like to know from the perspective of Iran. Iran itself has said, the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has said that it has complete control of the strait, and has suggested some countries could be allowed passage while others could be blocked. But from the perspective of international law, can any state legitimately impose political conditions on transit through such a critical international waterway? Can they do it?
No, I don't think as per international law, any country can put conditionalities to this. The conditions which Iran has put, that if any country dismisses the ambassador of UAE, ambassador of USA and Israel, severs relations, then only those countries their tankers can pass. I think this is a very unreasonable condition. International relations doesn't go.
Dr. Said, I apologize for interrupting you. We have some urgent media briefing coming in. Stay with us, please.